All right, so today these are 10 female nature truths that your dad never taught you. I highly advise you to stay until the end because I'm giving you 10 years of wisdom, an entire decade. Like, I put my entire life into this, meaning from ages 18 until now 28. Virtually everything I've went through, I pour out onto this YouTube channel. If you choose not to listen to any of these, I don't really give a rat's ass because it's your fault. But if you're smart enough to stick with me and take notes on this and listen accordingly, what will happen is your dating life will prosper. So the very first female nature truth that you need to learn and that you need to understand is that a woman's natural state will typically always gravitate back to chaos. And this occurs at any age. So what I can tell you is that it doesn't matter how secure you are in yourself. It does not matter how rich, how successful, how good your life setup is. If you date a woman monogamously, they will typically always gravitate back towards chaos and tension and emotional turmoil because that is going to be their natural default state. You can't do anything about this. The key is just to remain indifferent. So I put here on my notes, the key is indifference and not caring. If the woman you're dating wants to go through some sort of temper tantrum, if she wants to go start a bunch of arguments, if she wants to pull away just to see how you're going to react to get you reactive, the key is having your own life and acting as if you don't even notice, and truthfully that you don't even care, because that's what a true rock solid, stable, masculine man would do. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, okay, the second female nature truth that every man needs to internalize is that women view true confidence as a man who's calm. Okay, so this is something I've only recently discovered because you got to understand, since I do this daily for you guys on this channel, I'm constantly going over these terms. I'm constantly going over these topics. I'm constantly articulating these nuances at a different level every single day. Okay, so the word confidence, right? This is a term that I have, meditated on in my brain for days, weeks, months, and even years. And I ask myself, what is true confidence, right? How does a woman view a confident man? What is confidence to a woman? Women view confidence as a man who is calm. So the way that I started to internalize this was after dating a lot of women over the years. You start to notice what works and what they respond to. And especially you start to notice these things if you're seducing, okay? So if you're in a seductive state with a woman, her natural feminine nature gravitate towards you the calmer you are. When you speak slow and you speak seductive, that calming energy, what you're going to notice is they gravitate towards it. Now, here's what I can tell you too. If you're the most rock solid, stable, confident, and congruent man who's calm and centered, watch what happens. Watch her try to still pull you off center. Watch her try to get you reactive. Watch that woman try to start some argument. Watch what happens if she tries to do something manipulative that involves the word jealousy. Watch her try to do something to get you to change. What I'm going to tell you this is you cannot lose your cool. You cannot lose your calm. You have to stay in a state where you are still grounded. What you have to know is that if you're going to be dealing with one specific woman on a long-term extensive basis, you're going to have to be well equipped to handle these things because they will come your way. Now, number three, this might piss some of you off, especially those of you who believe in the one. But my personal take on this after 10 years of doing this is you need a volume of dates and experience because there is absolutely no substitute for confidence in the bedroom. Now, say that with me one more time. You need a volume of dates, okay? Volume, reps, a lot of dates. You need a volume of dates and experience because there is no substitute for confidence in the bedroom. Let me explain to you what I mean. Confidence and competence are interlinked. The more competent you are at something, the more confident you become. There is no substitute for that. So everything in life you will slowly learn is the reps. And I learned this through bodybuilding and just through putting in the reps over 10 years into my body. So the reps in the gym compound. Okay? If there's 52 weeks in a year, and let's say you hit 5 workouts a week. Let's just do the rough math on this because you guys need to be aware of this. There's 52 weeks in a year times 5 workouts a week. That's 260 workouts a year. If you compound that over a decade and you take that times 10, that's 2,600 workouts under the barbell. Chances are you are going to be confident when you go to incline bench press that weight. Okay, because you've done it a lot. The same goes for sales and selling. The same goes for getting better at business. And the same goes for dating women. You are going to have to understand what it's like to take losses. You're going to have to understand what it's like to be rejected. You're going to have to understand what it's like to go through hardship. Okay, so there is no substitute for confidence in the bedroom. And that's why point number 3 is you need a volume of dates and experience. You need volume. You need to talk to a lot of different women. You need to see what types of women you mesh better with. You need to actually understand what it's like to be rejected and know how to still carry on in life. All of these are crucial life skills. So that's number 3. Now, number 4, this is extremely important in a social media generation. But what I have found is that money does not make the man, man makes the money. So what I mean by that is financial discipline shows competence. Those of you who are struggling financially, you have to understand how to budget. You have to understand how to start to make more money. You have to understand financial discipline to get ahead in life, because the older you get, oftentimes women are going to be looking for men with stability and resources. But here's what you have to know too. The older you get, there's just an underlying expectation as you're meeting people in the world that you somewhat have your shit together and you somewhat have life figured out. And the older you get, the more of that expectation and almost that performance expectation is placed upon you. I didn't make the rules. I just observe life as it is. So money doesn't make the man. And the reason why I say that is because if you go by what you see on social media, you're going to be seeing a bunch of guys who drive flashy cars and wear expensive watches. And you think, oh my gosh, that is what masculinity is all about, is looking the part. That couldn't be further from the truth. Money doesn't make the man, man makes the money. And the only way you make the money is through discipline. You understand how to be financially literate. You understand how to actually exercise your resources accordingly into the proper investments and the proper way to actually spend to get ahead. And you start to understand how to develop yourself in a business sense. That is attractive to everybody, not just your dating life and not just women. Men start to respect you more because they see that discrepancy in your skill set versus theirs. And on top of that, women feel secure around a self-made, stable man. So that is point number 4. Money does not make the man, man makes the money. Number 5. This is going to be especially true for those of you who have dealt with a specific situation recently in female nature and heartbreak. But what you have to really realize is that until age 30, it is all just reps and practice, learning what women actually respond to and learning what not to do. You have to understand that life is a series and a stack of compounded learning lessons. Those compounded learning lessons are harsh truths. Now, a smart man with wisdom learns from those mistakes. Okay, a man who is not necessarily smart enough to see the mistakes never gets ahead. But until age 30, this is all just practice. And a lot of you guys, if you are still in your younger years starting out, you got to really realize that wisdom and masculinity in and of itself takes time to accumulate, and you can't shortcut that. So what you have to know is that until age 30, a lot of this is just reps. A lot of this is just practice. A lot of this is just seeing what not to do. So what I'm going to tell you is this. Men need to allow themselves room and time to fail. And this is something that guys don't want to hear, and this is something that guys don't want to do, because in the social media world that you see, you are looking at guys with the end result. You're going to be seeing instant gratification. You're going to be looking at other people and you compare yourself to other people and you think that they didn't have to go through the trials and tribulations and the hardships and the failures to get to the successes, but what you have to know is they did. So I'm going to tell you this. A man needs to allow himself room and time to fail. When you are young, you are probably not yet established in your masculine frame. You probably don't even know what that means, and you probably don't even know how to necessarily create a world and an environment where a woman feels stable in your presence and safe in your presence and secure in your presence. Once again, this is why I'm telling you, all of this takes time. All of this takes wisdom, and all of this actually takes real life skills. Female nature lesson number 6. Women will always do what is in their own best self-interest. So I tell you this because as you date, as you start to see this for what it is, you will run the risk of becoming bitter, or you will run the risk of becoming almost pissed off in certain situations if stuff doesn't go your way. Here's what I can tell you. Women will always do what is in their own best self-interest, so take nothing personal. The reason being is because they optimize for survival, and it's all off of feelings in that exact moment. Now, since I'm telling you that it all comes down to feelings in that exact moment, what you have to know is that women rarely think of the future when they're dating, okay? Women rarely think of the future when dating. They only see what you put in front of them right then and there in that exact moment. So don't take anything personal. And it's honestly, it's not just women. Everybody does what's in their own best self-interest. If you right now work at a job and you make $8,000 a month, and all of a sudden you find some different corporation or opportunity where you have a new employer, and that new employer is going to give you $35,000 a month, even if you've been with that other company for 10 or 15 years in a row, and you tell yourself that you're loyal to that company, chances are all of that's going to go right out the window when you see how much more you could make in the new opportunity. People in general will do what is in their best self-interest, and that includes you as well. Now, female nature lesson number 7, and this one is going to come with maturity and time, but you will realize that good game, okay, having good game really comes down to guarding your attention and guarding your energy. So I broke this one down into 2 layers. Layer 1 is essentially the preliminary levels of game. And what that is figuring out how to talk to women and establish the right dynamic with polarity and masculine to feminine energy and masculine to feminine dynamic. That is only layer 1. As you get older and you mature and you become wiser, it goes into layer 2. Now, that means layer number 2 is you realizing and seeing how and why they choose you in the first place when you actually master the language of women. What that means is when you come from a position of leverage and you start to know what you're doing and you start to guard your energy, they choose the men when you truly don't want any of them. Say that with me one more time. They start to choose you when you truly don't want any of them. When they see a man is so about himself, so about what he is doing, he has so much fulfillment in the life setup that he has actually created for himself with his hobbies, his interests, his purpose, his career, his opportunities, his friendships, his social circles. When she sees that, that is now an environment that she wants to come into. So it is no longer about you playing chase. It is no longer about you trying to get her attention. You are now the one from the position of leverage, and she is now trying to gain your attention. That is how the dynamic and the proper dynamic needs to be set up, so that way you are coming from a position of leverage so you can maintain the masculine frame. Female nature lesson number 8. You need to get to a point in life where you say no far more than you say yes, and this comes with leveling up your own attractiveness. When I tell you you need to get to a point in life where you say no far more than you say yes, the reason why this is so important is because you will notice that in your earlier years, you come from a point of needing something or needing somebody. You need someone else's attention. You need someone else's care. You need someone else's approval. You're needing that intimacy. When you get to a point in life where you can say no far more than you say yes, once again, not only is that a position of leverage, but you truly start to act and appear as if you're a pre-selected man, just like they wanted all along. This comes down to you leveling up your own attractiveness and your own masculinity, which brings me to female nature lesson number 9. The players, okay, the boys, right, the bad boys out there, these guys can attract women. Yes, they can. These guys can even sleep with women. Yes, they can. From time to time, women will even chase these types of men. But here's what I can tell you. At the end of the day, she's going to want a man. She's going to crave a man. So only a man can retain the relationship. As her emotions become chaotic, as she has ups and downs in life, as she goes through any sort of emotional tension or chaos or turmoil, whatever the case may be, she is going to be looking for a man's man with rock solid stability, and that is the man she wants to be with, especially for the long term. That takes you being a man who's actually solidified. That takes you being a man who is strong. That takes you being a man who's competent, and that takes you being a man who is resilient. What that means is if a woman pulls away from you, you don't lose your marbles. That means if I gave you the most prettiest runway supermodel right now, and let's say you dated that woman for months in a row, and you guys loved each other, all of a sudden, if she pulled away from you, if that turned your whole world upside down, you are not yet a man. A man is only a man when he can truly handle any sort of emotional tension or pullbacks from women, and that is when his dating life is stable and secure, because you have to understand it's no longer about his dating life, it's about him as who he is and the world that he has created that she wants to come into. Now, number 10, this one is going to hurt, especially for those of you out there chasing looks and chasing money and chasing status. I'm going to tell you this, and you will not believe me until you go through it, but you have to take my words as truth because I'm telling you these lessons so that way you understand them. Number 10, nobody, and I mean nobody, is immune to hypergamy. You could be a famous guy, you can be a rich guy, you can be a guy with a bunch of status. None of that on paper matters. Hypergamy is a feeling, okay? So what that means is I don't care who you are, I don't care how tall you are, I don't care how big your boat is, I don't care how big your house is, I don't care how cool you think you are, and I don't care how many diamonds your watch has in it. Hypergamy is a feeling. The second you fall in love with her, No, I did not say the second you love her. I said the second you fall in love with her. The second you fall in love with her and she can tell and she can feel it, the second you fall in love with her and put her on a pedestal, hypergamy is no longer satisfied. She wants a better option instantly, and often it will be a guy who does not treat her as good as you did. And that's what needs to sink in. That's truly what needs to sink in. Nobody is immune to hypergamy, and that's why you focusing on yourself, you focusing on your own attractiveness, you leveling up your life the way you want it to go, and you living by your own rules is truly the only thing that allows you to be the man that you've always wanted to become. If you like this video, I want you to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to go down and click the link in the description. I made a little presentation for you down below. It's called the MBT webinar, and that stands for Masculine Behavioral Techniques. I'm going to be showing you a few specific techniques that you can actually just copy paste into your dating life. And that presentation that I made for you down below, it's going to help you actually get dating success a lot quicker. So I advise you, actually take action on that. If you've been watching these videos, if you've been seeing this content that I've produced for you, I advise you, take it one step further. Actually take the time out of your day, take the attention out of your day, and go down below and click that link, because it's going to totally transform your life when you see just how quick you can get results at a quicker pace by understanding what not to do and by implementing new beliefs that will serve you quicker. Hit the like button, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.